Caleb Jones, Alpha 2.0, freedom-focused lifestyle design for men. How to succeed during coronavirus, lesson number, number 9. Someday I'll remember all these numbers, I have to check it. Lesson number 9. In this lesson, I'm going to show you something that you should have already done. And if you haven't done this yet, that means that either you are dumb or you are young. You're new to the concept of being in a recession. There's an entire generation of you who have actually never experienced a real recession before, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So I'll give you guys a pass. If you're over the age of about, 33, 34 years old, and you've been through a recession, and you haven't done this yet, you need to look in the mirror, because you're behind. You need to catch up a little bit. You need to cut expenses. It should be the very first thing you do when you see a recession, you realize there's a recession, or a sharp economic downturn of some kind, where there are economic ramifications or likely will be to your income or to your business, especially if you're in your own business, okay? But even if you're not, if you have a job, okay, whatever, the very first thing you should do, it's the very first thing I did, even though I haven't taken a big income hit. I still did this. And that's a key point. The very first thing you should do, even if you haven't lost any money yet, even if you haven't lost your job yet, even if your business income hasn't decreased yet, the very, very first thing you've got to do is to immediately cut all expenses that you can cut. This is both in your business life and in your personal life. This is exactly what I did. I did this several weeks ago before I lost anything. I haven't really lost anything yet, but I did this immediately, whether or not I thought I was going to lose money or not. This is the prudent thing you do during an economic contraction. You sit down and you go over your budget. Now, that assumes you have a fucking budget. Okay, so I hope you have a budget. Please, God, tell me you have a budget. Please, please tell me that at some point you've sat down with a spreadsheet and you've listed all your business expenses if you have your own business and all your personal expenses if you are anybody. Your personal expenses, your rent, your car insurance, if you're an American, your healthcare, whatever it is, okay? Your groceries, your cell phone bill, everything, that you should have a list somewhere in the computer of these expenses and these items. And if you don't, my God, you should be doing that right now. As soon as this video is over, you should sit down with your laptop or whatever the hell and write up a budget so you know exactly what your typical expenses are. You should have already had that. But okay, I'm going to be nice today. I'm trying to be nice. All right. You go through your budget. You go through every expense you make. You also go through your checking account. I would pull maybe 60 days of your checking account data and go through everything you spent money on the past 60 days and go down that list and say, what can I eliminate? And I promise you there will be things you can eliminate. And again, this is both in your personal life and if you have a business, in your business checking account, both. So I have two sets of books, right? I have my business books and I have my personal books. I went through both. Is there anything I can cut? Is there anything I can eliminate? Is there anything I can defer? I can put off until later. If you can't cut or defer, is there anything you can reduce? So I have a staff. So one of the things I did, I talked to my business manager and I said, look, we went through every person on my staff and said, okay, this person we need to pause. This person, we need to have them stop doing this stuff. This person can keep doing these things, but now needs to stop doing these things for the next 60 days. And in 60 days, we'll reevaluate, okay? I went through every person in my company. If you have a business, you need to do that. If you don't have a business, every expense you have. Can you reduce expenses? Can you renegotiate your rent or somehow renegotiate the interest payments on your mortgage? Can you cut back on your cell phone bill? Are you going out to eat more often? Well, right now you're probably not, but fast food you still can. I wonder if people right now have increased their expenses when it comes to things like Postmates and Uber Eats and shit like that, where they're getting a bunch of food delivered. I bet a lot of people are doing the opposite of what I'm saying and increasing their expenses in a down economy, which is stupid. So you should go through every line item of your life and either cut, defer, or reduce everything you possibly can so you're maintaining just those essential functions. And in this case, you don't do it forever. You do it for maybe 30 days, maybe 60 days. But in terms of my personal life, it's 30 days. In terms of my business life, I've told my staff, most of my staff, my business manager, it's going to be a 60-day process. So in 60 days, we'll reevaluate where we are, where the economy is, where the market is, and we'll make decisions based on that point. But that is the very first thing you should do. Frankly, this should have been lesson maybe 2 or 3. But I wanted to lead up to it. I wanted to get your brain prepped for these lessons first. The very first thing you do, and by the way, this is a lifelong skill. We have recessions every 10 years or less. Recessions are normal. They are a normal and regular occurrence in your life that you have to become accustomed to and be okay with. Most people Every time there's a recession, once every 10 years, they freak the fuck out and they have all kinds of problems because for some reason they haven't learned from the last recession or 2 or 3 or 4 recessions. Don't be like that. It should be a habit. You ingrain in your body and ingrain in your brain, the next time we have another recession, and we will in a few years, there'll be another one, the very first thing you do is, aha, we're having a recession, we're having an economic downturn, I can see things happening, I need to cut expenses right now. Even if you think you won't lose any money. I didn't think I would lose a lot of money, and so far I haven't, but I still cut my expenses because that's a prudent thing to do. In a future lesson, we're going to talk about cash flow. This directly relates to monthly cash flow, but you've got to cut expenses first before you address cash flow second. Cool? Talk about that in the next lesson. See you later. Stay rational. Take action.